Now, of course, the amount is really important, but with water or any sort of fluid, the timing is also equally important. Now, I've got a very sort of sciencey looking diagram there, but there's a really complex homeostatic mechanism in the body for regulating hydration status. So we don't really need to go into all this detail. Involves the release of certain hormones and the repression of certain others. But the basic outcome is that the body can only be hydrated to a certain extent at any one time. So you can't drink 9 liters of water in the morning and be fine in the evening. In that way, it's slightly different to food consumption, which we have this very, very helpful store now, use later system. So, I could eat, if I ate a big dinner last night, I'll have plenty of energy in the form of stored muscle glycogen or muscle tissue or body fat, which will allow me to have, access energy even in the absence of consumption of food for quite a long time. This isn't the case with water or fluid. So if you try and sort of superhydrate yourself, if you're in a hydrated state and drink a liter of water, 2 liters of water, the excess fluid will simply be excreted. Okay, cool. So a lot of people talk about, well, what about the common sense approach? What about, why don't I just drink when I'm thirsty? Sounds reasonable, right? The problem with that is that we know from many, many, many studies very conclusively that the thirst mechanism is very, very unreliable. So we know that when you first feel thirst, the sensation of thirst, you are already somewhat dehydrated. And on top of that, your thirst, the sensation of thirst will be satiated before complete hydration is achieved. So you might be drinking a little bit and feel, oh, I'm good now, but actually you haven't reached full hydration, and you certainly haven't yet reached optimal hydration. And as singers and voice actors, we really do want to be talking about optimal hydration status. So I always tell people, it's probably better to think of your thirst mechanism as a warning system, not as a guide. If you are feeling thirsty, you're already a little bit late. So that's quite, it seems so basic, drink when you're thirsty, but unfortunately, if you want optimal hydration, it's not quite good enough. So the second top tip of the day and the end of this section really is, for optimal hydration, which is really, really essential for optimal vocal functioning, you want to be drinking little and often throughout the day. So that 2 liters, 2.5 liters, 3 liters, whatever you work out your needs to be, you want to be drinking that pretty consistently throughout the day. And one tip I find is really helpful for people is to start the day hydrated. So when you wake up, you've been sleeping 6, 7, 8, 9 hours. Not you, Stephen, with a young baby, unfortunately. Not me soon. You wake up dehydrated. So my first tip is, this is something I do every morning, and I've been doing it for years, is to have a really significant drink of water as soon as you get up, 400, 500, 600 mils, to try and then catch up. Otherwise, you'll be playing catch up with your hydration status for the rest of the day, which is not optimal for a singer.